California's Gold is produced in association with KCET Los Angeles and is seen statewide on California Public Television. This series is endorsed by the California Teachers Association, the California School Boards Association, and the California Library Association.
Hi everybody, I'm Huell, and here we are on this absolutely glorious day at Pismo State Beach. Doesn't get any prettier than this, and the fact that it's January, dead of wintertime, makes this even more wonderful. I mean, look, everybody's out with their families enjoying this wonderful day at the beach. Now, the truth of the matter, though, is that we have not come up here to the Central Coast to come to the beach. Our destination is just about a quarter of a mile inland from here. And we have heard from reliable sources that when we get there, what we're going to find is going to be even more spectacular than this. A large crowd has gathered. They know we're coming. In fact, by some estimates, when we get there, we're going to find over 60,000 fine examples of California's gold.
It took only a minute or two to get there from the beach. Our destination, Pismo State Beach, North Beach Campground, located right on the side of Highway 1. Now, at first glance, it looks like just a nice big old grove of eucalyptus trees. But we soon discovered it's what's in and on these trees that make this place so wonderful.
Good morning, I'm Huell.
Good morning, Tony Villarreal.
Nice to meet you,
Nice to
sir.
meet you.
Tell us where we are.
This is Pismo State Beach, North Beach Campground. This is the Monarch Butterfly Grove.
The Monarch Butterfly Grove.
Yes.
And I assume this is the grove?
This is the grove, the trees, what we call the butterfly trees. And
Is this where the butterflies are living?
they're here from the months of October through the end of February, and sometimes all the way into March and even as far as April, depending on what the weather's like.
Because I see them. I don't know whether the camera can pick them up yet or not, but there are butterflies flying all over this place right now.
Yeah, as the temperatures rise, the butterflies are more active, and we're getting some mating activity going on, and a lot of butterflies are just coming out of the clusters.
Oh, wow, look, they're kind of, there's one, there's one, there's one. They're moving.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're over to where?
This is our little information trailer that we have. This is our interpretive trailer. And we have volunteers that work in the trailer. They talk about the butterflies to visitors, and they sell items from t-shirts to postcards, things like that.
And what about these things?
These are spotting scopes that are set up on some of the clusters of the butterflies hanging up there in trees, so the visitors can get a close-eye view of what...
I see the butterflies up in the trees.
Right.
They're just hanging there.
They're focused on clusters. We're getting a lot more movement right now. The temperature's starting to rise, and the butterflies are moving around, so it's going to be a good day.
Look out here. They're really moving out there.
Yeah.
How many butterflies do you figure you have here this year?
The count that we had was about 60,000 butterflies.
Wow, in this grove?
Right, in just this one location.
Howdy.
Howdy.
I'm Huell.
I'm Joe Burnett. Glad to have you here.
You are the docent here.
I'm one of the docents, right. There are about 10 of us that give walks here.
The happy, smiling docent, because what's not to be happy about standing
That's
here
right.
in the
They're
butterfly
beautiful.
grove?
And if you'll notice, everybody else here is smiling also. It's amazing. They might have had other things on their minds when they came here, but now they're happy.
Well, give me a little butterfly tour. Come on, Tony,
All right.
we'll all go in here together.
Okay, now this is a very special ecosystem. It's protected. It's one of the few in the state that is a preserve and protected by the state. And Tony's our chief ranger here, and he does all of the work in concerned with that.
Now, wait a minute. First, let me interrupt you for a minute, because that's the highway right there. Why
Right.
did I think I was going to be going in some remote grove of trees that was protected from civilization, that nobody would, you know?
Well, you might know your history, because eucalyptus and the Monterey cypress and pines, which you find in here, were not here 150 years ago. Most of the eucalyptus came in about 100 years ago. And they used to be up in the sycamores, the western sycamores up in our canyons and arroyos. But this is closer to the ocean where they get the fog. They need moisture. So they get their minerals from moisture, and so the fog rolls in, and you'll find them out here drinking in the morning many times, and we have a freshwater stream. So if anything were to happen to these, which I hope doesn't happen because we'd lose the accessibility, they probably would be back up in the arroyos.
But I mean, the traffic, the road, the highway doesn't bother them at all?
No, they're unperturbable. We have about 15 Union Pacific trains going by here every day. Lots of cars, lots of people milling around in here. And they're unperturbable. They're very tough little creatures.
Unperturbable?
Right. They're very, very tough little creatures.
Is this one of his words that he's come up with, unperturbable?
Right.
So nothing bothers the monarchs?
Very little. You'll notice with all of these insects, and they are insects, you don't see any birds about.
Yeah.
And this is because they eat milk. They lay their eggs on milkweed, and the caterpillar absorbs the milkweed as it grows, and it has a cardiac glycoside, if you'll pardon another special word, which gives many birds heart attacks. And so you might see a jay eat one. In about 15 minutes, he'll vomit violently. But he'll never, and he might, if he lives, he'll never eat another monarch in all likelihood.
So the monarchs have their own protection built into their system.
Yeah, and the bright coloration is one of the indications of danger to other things that might be their predators. So it's also the case they can cruise along at about 15 miles an hour,
now
which is amazing.
You have brought us up to speed so far. Let's head on in.
All right.
Because this is really kind of magical. Just being inside here with all these butterflies and walking into this amazing grove.
And once the sun comes out, sometimes when it gets up to be at 55 degrees or above, they begin flying about, they warm up. And as you can see, some are beginning to warm because they've opened their wings. Now when they're
oh my gosh!
And they might just explode all of a sudden.
See, I thought that was the tree. That's not the tree. Those are all butterflies.
Those are butterflies, and they look like dead leaves because they've pulled the brightly colored wings in underneath the drab lower wings, and this gives them a protective coloration, a camouflage. But now you can notice a few are opening their wings, warming up, and getting ready to fly.
When they warm up, do they just stay in this one area, or do they fly out for the day and then come back?
They stay pretty much in this area, but they'll fly out and get some water from the creek or perhaps from dew on the ground. They'll look for nectar, but there's not much nectar here at this time. A few blossoms on the eucalyptus tree and the ice plant, and that's about all.
What's going on over here? What's this?
Here they're tagging. I would like you to meet Dennis Fry.
Howdy, Huell.
Dennis Fry.
Now, what are you all doing over here?
Well, we're running a tagging session. We're not not actually putting tags on them, but we put marks with a little Sharpie pin on the wings to tell information about when we've caught them. And
wait a minute, you put them on the wings?
Yeah, we mark with a Sharpie pin on the wing itself.
How do you get the butterflies?
Well, I captured them from up in the clusters up in the trees here.
So we have butterflies down here?
We have them.
Can we take a look at them?
Yeah, we sure can.
Let's take a look. Oh, this is interesting. Oh my gosh.
So here's
a whole, oh, I know we're going to lose them. Look at this. A whole bucket
new male
full of butterflies.
New male.
That's so you can get them out.
Oh, they come out that little pipe there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see how this works. This gentleman over here, you're the head butterfly tagger?
Oh, not quite.
How does this work? You're just reaching in.
Well, they're supposed to come out of here, but today it's not quite warm enough, I guess, or light enough.
All right, so you got one. Now, what are we going to do with this butterfly? You got a magic marker.
Well, first we determined that it's a female.
How do you know it's a female?
It's had wide veins, and it doesn't have a little black spots on its hind wings.
Hold it over there so Louie can see it real good. Right here. And, okay, then we're going to...
We mark it.
Male.
It's a female. Today is the 7th day. We're marking on this panel. If it's a male, we put a red spot there, and then off they go.
Oh, it just, look. It just went right to you. Oh, now you're marking?
Yeah, I'm marking, and this has been marked before. And what this shows here, that's a male. And this is for the 5th day. It's been marked before, but we always double check to make sure that the person marked it.
Can I put one in my hand?
You sure can.
Now this one's ready to, here, let him, oh. Boy, they're feisty little things.
Here's one that we marked from Oceano a couple days ago.
Wait a minute, I'm getting one in my hand. Here he goes. They're kind of elusive, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
They're ready to get back in the tree.
No, they're ready to get out and fly and find some mates.
Ah, okay.
Here's one if you'll hold him right here with those two fingers. Female. This is a very special one because it has been previously marked over at a nearby campground overwintering site about 3 miles from here. These blue dots that are here, that's the color that we used over at Oceano campground site. And it was marked, let me find out which dot it was. We marked that one back about 5 weeks ago.
So this has flown how far?
It's only flown 3 miles, so it's flown about 2 miles over from south of here, and it's joined its buddies over here.
Now where, can we let go? Oh, look! Oh my gosh! It's the butterfly lady. You know, they do that. You don't really think of butterflies in the sense of being having personalities, but when you're around them like this and they light on you and they're just, you know, flying, they really take on
They take on characteristics almost of ourselves.
Yeah. Now, what is the purpose of doing this?
Well, we are part of a team from Cal Poly State University, and we are estimating the population abundance, how many butterflies there are, and we started back in November, and this is our 7th tagging session.
I hear we're down a little bit this year.
We're down about, actually quite a bit. It's about 1/3 of the population size that we had last year at this time.
Does it fluctuate from year to year depending upon climatic conditions?
Fluctuates a lot.
Climatic conditions
Yeah.
and the amount of rain and the temperature, all of that sort of thing.
And probably the most critical factor is the weather conditions in their breeding grounds in the late summer. We had...
Which are where?
Well, it can be anywhere in California where there's milkweed plants. But probably the biggest bunch are produced in the Sierra Nevada foothills, where there's lots of milkweed. And we had cooler summer, late summer, and less rain than normal, so less milkweed.
So it's predictable you're going to have fewer.
Yeah.
Boy, look at you. You're turning them out.
Yeah. I got up to 4 there. I don't think I can handle quite 4.
You just kind of take them out. Look at this, Louie. Put it over there so Louie can see what you do.
So what I do is I look between the wings here, and so that tells me that one's a female, and that one is a male. So 1 male, 1 female, Jimmy.
And you
so then I mark them. So the female gets just a day 7 mark, and the male gets a day 7 and a spot right there on the wing.
Now let's hold that up so Louie can see it. You've marked twice on this one, once on this one.
So when we have that mark right there, it means we can look up in a tree with the binoculars and see this guy and say, oh, there's a male up there.
And how fragile are they? Because you're holding onto their wings. Are you afraid you're going to hurt them?
No, not particularly. I mean, you know, they're pretty hardy for butterflies, and this way actually keeps them from struggling if I hold their wings together.
All right, let's let them go.
Yep.
Oh.
New female.
Female.
Female. Male. Male.
New female.
New female.
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 Recapture.
Now, Dennis and I have come just a few yards from where all the activity was going over there with the count to actually get down to the business of collecting them.
Right. We need to catch some and take them back to the taggers so that they can have a population to sample and to work with.
And I assume this is the net right here.
Giant butterfly net.
And this is the bag that you put them in.
Designated bag holder.
So it's really a pretty simple process.
Very simple. It's just pretty low tech.
Okay, now we've come over, and there they are, Louie, up there. That is an amazing sight to see. How many butterflies would you figure up there right now?
Well, in that
in that one little cluster.
In that particular group, I suspect there's probably maybe 300 butterflies there.
300?
Yeah.
So they are really packed in there, aren't they?
Packed in there pretty tight. Yeah.
Why do they stay so close together?
Well, you know, the general layperson says they huddle together to stay warm. But in fact, what they're trying to do is stay cool. That's why they come to these cool climates and spend the winter. They're probably there this is probably a good spot to avoid being too windblown, and they can survive these heavy windy storms that come around, and they stay in the shade. Notice that's in the shade up in there, and so that keeps their bodies cool to let their fat metabolism is real low under these conditions.
So we need to do this now before they warm up later on in the day.
Because as they warm up, they'll start sort of leaving these spots and sort of move to some other spots.
All right, now how does this work?
Well, it's pretty straightforward. We just take this long pole with a net at the end of it and reach up underneath them carefully, and
you sneak up under
them and try to disturb them as little as possible.
Oh, you're going to take a whole... Oh!
You kind of have to shake them off into the net because they have
and that's just off one limb.
And that's just off of one limb.
Let's get another one.
Okay, we'll get this next one.
Ha! Oh! Oh! This is... Oh, let's look in here. Here they are. In the net. They're probably not too happy about this, are they?
They may be a little bit upset, but...
Now, how do you get them into the bag?
Well, then we just unscrew the net from the pole, and we get a standard shopping bag and turn them inside out into the bag.
This is really neat to see.
Yeah, it is. It's a good experience. Besides being a basic research program, it's good for me. It's good for me to work with two different generations, to have them with common interests and common sorts of excitement levels, and they learn a lot from each other. Actually, in some of our sessions, it's either the docents or the students, and they have this sort of a rivalry and competition as to who can tag the most and who can do it the best.
I got you. So there's a sense of, and I would imagine some of the older docents who've been coming here for years really kind of have a sense of, a territorial sense, just like the butterflies do,
a little bit.
That this is their grove.
Right, and then the students are the newcomers, and they have a lot to learn.
We're here every Friday, and we've been doing this for 6 or 7 years and enjoy it tremendously.
And how do you get hooked on butterflies?
Well, I think they're about the most beautiful animal in the world. And we just love to share our knowledge with it, with all the people that come here, all 50,000 people who came here last year.
Now here's a family who's just arrived. Are you all locals?
No, we're from Porterville.
Porterville. Now, did you come down just to see the butterflies, or were you in the area?
No, we're just in the area, and we've seen them all, so we started walking over here.
Now, what do you mean you saw them all?
Well, we're just passing by. We've seen butterflies and people, so we...
Oh, you saw them out flying around?
Right.
It's a magical place, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that was amazing when he knocked the butterflies off the
well, we never see that many at one time. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I love to come here this time of year just because, especially on a sunny morning like this, because like I said, it's just a magical spot.
Is this a place that the locals up here kind of guard jealously?
You know, I've never gotten that feeling. You know, I'm a local person, and everybody I know who has kids around the age of my children love to come here and bring the kids by.
Yeah. But you want to share it with others as well.
Yeah, yeah. I've never felt like it's been too crowded here. You know, it's one of those places where you'd think that there'd just be a 1,000 tourists here, but for some reason, there's a few here and there. But it's never been what I consider too crowded, or anything like that.
But you know what you've got, don't you?
I sure do. I sure do. I love it here.
How many people are here for the first time to see the butterflies? How did you find out? How do you know about this place?
Well, we've always heard about the butterflies near where we live, which is more closer to Sacramento. We always heard Pacific Grove was the area. We never realized there was a grove here in Pismo. And we just took a walk on the beach and saw some butterflies and walked in and learned more about it. It's quite a surprise.
Because it's getting warm, we learned they kind of start fluttering all around now.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's beautiful just seeing one or two, but I mean, my gosh, thousands at one spot.
Yeah.
It's just overpowering. It's just beautiful.
Have you been here before?
Once before.
So you knew what you were going to see today?
Well, no, because the first time we were here it was rainy and it was cloudy, and we saw a couple, but I mean, not like today.
Yeah.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Can you get good tape of these things? Do they show up good?
Yeah, with a good zoom. Oh, they're great. They're so much fun.
So what do? You take this home and put it up on your TV set and just sit there and watch butterflies all day? Put on some butterfly music?
Right. Especially I can now put Huell on here too.
Now, come inside. What do you call this place?
The interpretive trailer.
The interpretive trailer, and it looks like you've got a little bit of everything here. What do people like to buy when they come here?
Souvenirs, you know, like postcards, bookmarkers, stickers, magnets.
Butterfly motif,
yes.
And you get the questions too.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Sure do. Lots of questions.
Lots of questions.
How long do they live? I mean, we get a lot of questions.
Yeah. What else do you get?
What are the difference? How do you tell the difference between the boys and the girls?
Mm-hmm.
Why are they here? How long are they going to be here, and how long do they live?
Mm-hmm. So you got the questions down.
Oh yeah, we got the answers down pat too.
I like it just because it's that time of year. I wait for this to see them.
Do you really?
Oh, certainly. I'm an animal person, and these things coming in here every year are, to me, a miracle. We don't have as many this year. I've seen that tree where it was just alive with them. It looked like embers just burning up to the sky, alive with butterflies. But there's some over at the Oceano campground now. I guess they've split up. There goes the neighborhood. And they're truly kind of a miracle. I also...
What do you mean by miracle?
That they would stop here, and that we have the privilege of seeing this right here in our backyard.
Boy, just looking up here at these trees with the sun coming through and the blue sky and the butterflies around, I hate to think that future generations of Californians wouldn't have this to enjoy.
I think there is a lot of concern. The monarch, there's so many of them, and they are so widely spread throughout California and the whole West and all of North America, that they're not an endangered species, they're not a threatened species, but they are vulnerable because there's just a few of these places like this. And as development continues to take up these lands, it's more and more important for our public resources like state parks to protect these sites.
So it's not the butterflies themselves, it's their habitat, that is disappearing.
Yes, it's disappearing.
That is endangered.
Right, their habitat is threatened because it's disappearing, and not only from development but from natural causes. There are diseases of eucalyptus trees, there's diseases of cypress trees and pine trees that are their favorite sorts of trees to use. So there's all these natural and human influences that threaten their habitat.
Well, it's just a little grove. It's just right here.
Yep.
Just nestled right on the side of a busy highway. And yet it's like an oasis of life here.
It's like an oasis, you're right. Every one of these sites is different, and they're all unique, and they're all beautiful, and they are like an oasis.
What do you think the reaction of the locals would be if one year, the butterflies didn't come?
I think we'd die. Well, I live 2 blocks from here. Just walk across the track every single morning. I've watched them year after year. And, you know, it's just part of life.
California, here I come, right back where I started from, where bowers of flowers bloom in the sun. Each morning at dawning, birdies sing and everything. A sun-kissed mist says, don't be late. That's why I can't
Well, hello, everybody. I'm Huell Hauser. We just got a call from the Docents at Pismo State Beach reminding us that the Monarchs are back. And from now until February is a perfect time to visit them. Now, North Beach Campground is located on Highway 1 right in the nice little town of Pismo Beach. And this is a wonderful way to spend a day with family or friends. I guarantee you, it's a sight you'll always remember. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Huell Hauser, and I sure hope you enjoyed this adventure. If you'd like to see it again or share it with your family or friends, or perhaps donate a copy to your local school or library, it's available on video cassette and on DVD. All you have to do is call 1-800-266-5727, and we'll be glad to send it to you right away.